Okay, here we go. After Party 28, where we're going to talk about sessions 84. Bitey, Blinky, Winky, and Paul Zarin have an adventure. Probably the longest title that we've ever had.
Oh, the SEO on that title is fantastic.
85. Are we checking on Chum? ? And 86. Road less traveled. Good grouping here. Starting out with the old battle with the sub where we left off from 83, and really get into basically. I think the battle was a lot more about the wand rolls than anything else. Yeah. As every time it got back to my turn, I had to roll percentile dice, and I have down here, we had some teleporting, some fireballs. We had the wand jumping around, all kinds of great stuff.
And the rest of us figured out where that wand came from by listening to the intro.
Yeah, you and Bill know, but nobody else knows. Right?
Yeah, but the thing is, when Shaft acquired that wand was in an episode that part of an episode that you were all fine to listen to, so you should have known where you picked it up from.
So basically, you just didn't pay attention before.
Exactly. Yes. Thank you for putting that so succinctly. You idiots.
So it's Surma's wand.
Yeah.
Oh, what?
So,
to be honest, I was trying to be quiet because I didn't remember where it was from.
We were back on the Rising 3. We were chucking bodies over the side, and Shaft went, "Why chuck this body that could have stuff on it?" And
yeah, no, that makes sense.
Took some stuff, which I think if you think back on it, there was a whole thing on what was it, Detect Magic, that Shaft had the wand on him, and you guys were using Detect Magic to try to find magical items, but I can't remember how we played that all out.
That's because that's not how. So that's because we were weird on how Detect Magic actually works.
Yeah,
like Detect Magic is it's the same as if any of you were having a magical item on your person, even something in a bag in Falzern's bag of holding. Say even maybe even like a health potion. Like, whoever is casting Detect Magic would feel the presence of magic within its radius, but it doesn't point you in the direction. Like, even if it was right behind you, you wouldn't know from the effect of the spell that it was right behind you. You would know it was somewhere in this 30-foot radius around you. And even if you were like, hey, there's a bag of holding, and then that caster was like, wanted to use their action to make the magic light up, it's inside of a bag of holding, so they wouldn't see it light up anyways. So that's how
bag of holding's magical.
Yeah, I was gonna say, wouldn't the whole bag light up?
Exactly, the bag of holding would light up.
Right.
So anyway, I thought it was a good time in that battle to see how the thing worked, and I think we learned a little bit.
I'm not sure you figured out how it works though.
I figured out what you can. I figured out there's a lot of stuff that happens when you try to use it.
Potentially, wasn't it like the first roll was what caused all the rest of it to happen?
So I had you make an intelligence check or a saving throw, whatever the fuck it was. Saving throw, I think it was. And you rolled poorly, meaning it didn't function. Well, it functioned according to the roll that you got. And then I just had you roll on. I just used the Sorcerer's Wild Magic table in the player's handbook, and you rolled like whatever you rolled first. I think it was like a 1 or a 2 or something. It really said for the next minute, roll again on this table at the beginning of the creature's turn, disregarding that thing if it came up again, right? So that's why for the next 10 rounds I had to roll every single time.
So it typically wouldn't be doing stuff round after round after round.
It was just the randomness, wild magic of the wand, yeah.
Which is what makes that kind of stuff so much fun, right?
Exactly, yeah. That's why that table is great.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Well, it gave us the heroes of Mechanus, Blinky and Winky.
Oh, that's
true.
sacrificed their lives so that Falzarin and Shaft could get away.
Now, they were Modrons, right?
That's right, yeah.
What's a Modron?
It's like a little mechanical being. They come in all different sizes and shapes. And the cool thing about them is if you were fighting, say, a cluster of them, and there was 3 different variations, if you killed the largest, most strongest variation, one of the lower ones would basically get a promotion and then become the next level up to replace it. So they get... I really like those creatures. They're really cool.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I didn't realize that's how they function. That's cool.
Then we finally make it out of the water and meet Slava.
Yes, we did.
Whew, took 83 episodes, but we made it to the Tritons.
I told you guys they'd be there.
That's right.
Well, you almost didn't get them. Almost had Bitey finish them
Yeah.
off for Pete's sake.
That Bitey almost went into just a death spin and ripped him in half.
You need to control your shark, Bill.
Hey, that's the last time I'm going to have an opportunity to. Bitey's gone forever.
So Slava seemed very confident that they could take care of the Kraken. Potentially Alamar, Izzy, and Erica. He did say they all need to be taken care of. I don't know if he actually said they were going to do it, but he did say that needs to happen.
He said if they were involved with Cray Lakina, they need to be terminated. Yes.
Yeah, but I don't know if he meant that they would take care of that situation, or if it was up to us.
I assume within the next episode or 2, they will have vanquished all of them, and life will be a lot easier in Aspara.
So what would the party do?
Towers. Finally have a chance to go. I don't know. We wouldn't. We would find something else to do along the way to the towers. Like we still have the snow bloom to find on Mount Necropolis and Rugar's whatever.
Necros, yeah.
Yes,
Rugar's
I want to
father.
do that side quest. I'll be honest.
I mean, Mia's into it because the Niyogi are up there, so...
And free beer for life does seem to be
yeah,
That would be nice.
in Drakal.
That's
So yeah,
priceless.
Oh yeah, Shaft needs to stop by Drakal to get some things.
How much money do you have at home in Drakal?
Pretty sure we each put 1,000 in.
Her half was 700. She left.
Oh, I thought I left 1,000.
No, you kept some. You put 700 in my hidey hole.
Wow, you got a pretty decent chunk of change waiting there for you.
The hidey hole.
Yeah, and I put 700 of mine in there too.
Right.
Yeah.
man, it must be nice to have so much stinking gold. Falsy's got like 50.
Mia's got all her gold because she didn't tat her body up.
If you were nicer to Shakara and saddle up to her, maybe you could get her gold when she dies.
Magical weapons. There's all kinds of cool stuff when people die.
When she dies? Wait, what?
I may have to start playing Falzer in that way.
I assume it's an inevitability.
Isn't Mia the aristocrat of the group? Come on.
Yeah.
No. Shaft knows my family's rich. He's kept that information to himself.
Probably get a ransom for her.
Yeah. Jeez. Can you imagine?
So, then we find out that Cray Lakina, which we believed was the Kraken name.
Yeah, just another name for Kraken.
It's Cray Lakina is a prisoner in the elemental plane of water, and I think they're, maybe I'm wrong, but I think they're trying to do something with this small Kraken to link these things together. I don't think Cray Lakina is the Kraken.
Yeah, Slava seemed to be a little bit shaken when you mentioned Cray Lakina. So that's bad.
Well, I remember recording that segment, and Leland pulled the, is there anything else? And we were all like, mouthing, Cray Lakina. And Bill's like, oh, have you,
I was just biding my time, waiting for the right moment.
Mm-hmm.
And then you did give them the map at that point, too.
I did, yes.
So,
Right.
theories?
Well, also, Cray Lakina, he said, went by a different name when he had his full power. So Cray Lakina, this very powerful being, was previously even more powerful than that and went by a different name. So what was that?
I don't know.
I would assume it was Frank.
Frank is what I was just going to say, but
Yes.
then I remember we already had a Frank. He's the
probably Bob.
kumquat guy. So
Oh, yeah. Fred, I guess.
yeah. So what about the map? Why'd you give him the map? What do you think?
I mean, I assume that the map is the Deep Scions or whoever are searching for the Tritons here, there, and everywhere out in the sea. So,
Does anyone else have other theories? Because I was thinking maybe those were potential Kraken layers, and they couldn't find
Yeah.
a good enough spot for a Kraken layer.
it could be.
Well, as you guys have learned, the Kraken layers have great big storms over top of them, right? So the only ones that we've heard of is the one as under where Erica was, and
You fucked that one up.
yeah.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean there's not storms above all those other spots. We haven't really traveled there, so
That's
Yeah,
true.
could
Many
be.
of them were pretty far out to sea.
Yeah. I'm curious to see what comes of the Tritons over the next handful of episodes. If they resurface and are able to help us out or not. But I'm really glad that Falsey was finally able to contact them, because I think they're going to be potentially a big help.
well, I mean
Hope
that
so.
just we don't have to worry about the Kraken anymore. I mean, I think
Yeah.
Shaft even said to the Tritons, "So you're taking care of this situation, right?" And
Right. Yeah. Cross that off the to-do list. Done.
we're good there. We probably should just get experience points alone just for that, accomplishing and completing a task that we've had for some time. So then
Yeah.
we break off. We go back to the girls at the library going to talk to Geneva. You guys remember what you talked about?
She said that she thinks Alamar's phylactery might be his cane, because she never sees him without it.
Eagle-headed cane.
She thinks that Keek may be compromised. And she was going to talk to Gundar and Sybil and try and get them on our side.
Yeah, she did say she was going to help us fight Alamar if,
Yeah.
'cause, we may need the help.
She hadn't seen Almar since breakfast, and he was all perturbed that morning. She gave us some information about possible ritual locations and, yeah, the potential for like you said, the cane.
Yeah.
But she kind of talked about the elixir, and Shikara gave me the don't mention it.
Just in case, nobody needs to know that we have that.
No, it's true.
That's a really important little bit of info that I'm kind of glad you guys didn't share, because who knows who we can trust, and I think we should keep that a secret from everyone. I mean, I'm even a little bit nervous that Grimby knows about it, to be honest, but
The other thing was like Shikara talking about the ritual of catharsis in packs. She never really mentioned herself yet to Mia.
Well, I mean, that's not something that anybody would come out and just...
Oh no, for sure. Just
casual
as far as like
conversation.
the listeners concerned, Mia suspects she's trying to help Falzarin is all.
Yeah.
Do you guys think the phylactery is the eagle-headed cane?
Here's the thing, if he carries it around everywhere, why wouldn't he try that first? If he obviously was trying all these different urns and bottles and things on that shelf that Falzarin triggered the alarm to go look at, why wouldn't he have tried the cane first?
yeah, I'm not totally sold on the cane, to be honest, but I don't know.
Why try a potion bottle or an urn or something?
And I thought, and maybe I'm misremembering this, but I thought we had learned that a phylactery typically has to be like a container of some sort. But maybe that's wrong. But if that's the case, a cane is not a container,
Could be hollow.
I suppose.
Swords
Yeah.
in it. Yeah, who knows?
But is
That's
it,
true.
like, the point of the phylactery is if you get killed, you go to your, like, soul goes to the phylactery? Is that how that works?
Yeah. So it's supposed to. So it houses your soul while a new body forms, basically.
I wouldn't think that would be something you would carry around with you everywhere.
No,
I
I
would-
would think you'd have it stashed away somewhere, right?
In a hidey hole.
But it's not currently his phylactery, and a lich
Right.
wouldn't have a use for a cane. Like Alamar, you've seen, he legitimately seems to need to use that cane to actually move around. He's as old as he is. But That's a good thought.
So maybe, yeah, I mean, I suppose it's something we don't completely write off. Once he's a lich, he won't need the cane, so he can just squirrel it away somewhere.
Yeah, I think you'd pick something that was valuable to you that would last forever, right?
And wouldn't be obvious.
Not something that will potentially rot away over time either.
I don't know. I'm not convinced about the cane.
So, let's see. Then I have written down that Shakara goes and does a little prayer. I'll just let you talk to that if you want to, or we can...
Just wanting to know that there was somebody out there looking after me and trying to get some guidance, and got the first but not the second. That's
okay.
I don't know what else you want me to say.
I'm
all
just
there
letting you
was to
say
that.
what you got to say. Then we pop back and we go to Alstoff Tennerman's place with Falzarin and Shaft, where Falzarin gets to put on a little bit of an act and gets introduced as his new name, Paul Zarin, the scribe bookkeeper for Samuel Cultist. What do you think, Bill?
I think when you introduced Falzarin as Paul Zarin is perhaps one of my favorite moments of our entire show. That was so brilliant.
He's had that one in his back pocket, maybe.
Yeah.
I thought it was funny.
I would have never come up with that on the spot.
Because it gives you enough to be able to not link the two together, but you could sort of go, do you mean Falzarin? No, you misheard what I... You must have misheard me, right? Because they can always go back and go, you just said your name was Paul Zarin. No, I said Falzarin. You just misunderstood. Or they said something like, it's Falzarin, and you go, no, I clearly said Paul Zarin. So either way, I can get out of it, right?
You got the culpable deniability of both.
That's exactly right.
Oh.
That's everything
That's so
Shaft
good.
says is that way. So, we play a little game there where we try to get some information out of Alstoff, and we do get a
Got
little.
a lot of information.
I had no friggin' clue what was expected of Falzarin in that moment, so I was just like trying to think of something I could say and what I'd be upset with.
You did a great job, but there towards
You
the
said
end,
a
you
lot of
were
things.
trying to be nice to Alstoff, and the real Falzarin started shining through, saying, "Oh, I'm sorry."
Yeah.
And
there was only so much of that Falzarin could keep up.
so we found out. Well, first off, I got my manacles, the jet black manacles. What did we call them? The shafts of shackling.
Shackles
Shackles
of
of-
shackling.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
Okay, 4 more times, really fast.
Did you pay the other half of what you owed for that?
Yeah, I paid the 100. That is why when I got the tattoos, I didn't go up with the tattoos. I only had so much money. And I knew I wanted to save some cash to get some manacles made. So I held back and just got the cheaper tattoos. And then when I went up and we finally got... Luckily, I had enough money when I ordered the shackles.
Because you, he said how much you owed, and then you kind of misdirected and had all this other stuff going on, so I just didn't know if you, did that on
Right.
purpose to try and get out of paying the second half of what you owed, or...
No,
If
he
you
wouldn't
actually-
have gave them to me unless I paid him.
Okay.
I paid him. I marked it off my character sheet. So,
Okay.
yeah, he's...
You got a fucking steal on those manacles.
Oh, you ain't kidding. Now, I did notice...
Yeah, those are amazing manacles.
In the episode, he didn't actually go over all of the things that the manacles can do. Did we ever go over that on Mike? I think
Yeah, it
we
was right
did.
at the end of the episode.
Okay.
Alstoff didn't give it to you in through RP, but we
Right.
glossed over it, and he would have explained kind of the
Yeah.
functionality of them. And we explained how they work on Mike for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, we did.
Well, we did learn by looking at the shipping records was there are bronze scouts that do the digging. There are iron cobras that don't speak. There are oaken bolters, which I don't know what they do. We didn't get to that. And stone defenders, which are heavily armored and have shields, but obviously are not they have no weapons, because he said, I guess they could use their shields as weapons if they wanted to. Therefore,
Yeah.
I mean, it makes it sound like you don't have any weapons, but they're just
They're like
defending
defense.
things. Right. So Yeah, I mean, we jumped around that a little bit, but I think the most important thing was not only knowing what those things are called and what they do, but also that he doesn't have anything to do with the cubes. So the cubes are created somewhere else by someone else, and we're not going to be able to pick any of them up there on Heraklion as far as we know.
There's one little thing he said, too, when, you asked about the cubes. He said that he wasn't asked to supply any power sources for his machines.
That's right. I didn't really think about that.
Yeah, he assumed that the cubes were power sources, I think,
That's
what I took
that's
from
what
that.
he, when you asked him about it, that's what he figured.
So they're not powered when he sends it. Something else has to power these things. Apparently, they're just the metallic. But he was a little pissy when we said they were talking, and he said, you tell Samuel Coltis that will void any warranty that
That was good.
he has. So, so that means I can't remember exactly how we learned of the Cobras talking.
That was through Percival.
Yeah.
Percy.
Percy, okay.
Yeah. Percy and Agatha in Port Randus at the Asinine Leopard.
Yeah.
They had just come back from the last sole survivors of their own kind of party trying to answer the quest on the board to take down the towers and get the power source themselves. And they spoke of trying to warn everybody away from tackling it because of these machines that whispered and spoke. And
Yeah, whispered is what I remember.
yeah, exactly.
And they said the name Tobias Forge, if I recall correctly.
Yes, Percy did mention one of them saying
They sure
Tobias.
did.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, just Tobias, okay. Yeah, so there's still some things to uncover there.
Shaft is a deep scion. I'm just saying it right now.
Oh, yeah, you never asked.
This whole time, you've never asked me.
I would have told you. So that pretty much wraps up 84. Anybody have anything else on 84 to want to bring up?
Well, this is way back in I had a note here about the wand. One thing we didn't touch on is Shaft aged 2 years.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
right.
That was one of the effects.
I didn't know how to play that. I mean, do you think you'd notice?
I think 2 years, no, but if you had rolled upwards of 8 or 9, I had you roll a d10. You could have rolled a 10 and aged an entire decade.
Yeah, I would have
Man.
felt
Wow.
that.
Yeah, you'd
That's
feel that.
crazy.
Crazy.
Yeah. So
That's
I think
nuts.
2, you could probably get away with not really feeling its full effects immediately, right?
Now, Shaft's a halfling. What's a halfling's lifespan?
It's a little older. I think it goes in up well over 100, but I can check it.
Yeah, I think it's like a century and a half-ish, I believe.
So then it's not that significant.
They reach adulthood at 20, and let's see if it says
How old
here.
is Shaft?
Well, Shaft went from 39 to 41.
Oh, he's over the hump then. He's
I
into
missed
a midlife crisis here.
I missed the birthday party. I missed the whole 9 yards, hitting 40s.
Oh, man.
So as far as Shaft's concerned, he's still 39.
Yeah, he doesn't know the difference.
I don't know. Either.
Yeah. That's funny.
I mean, could you imagine if he had gotten as a small child a prophecy telling him he would live until he was 101, and now thinks he's 99 and still's got 2 good years to live, and then
Broke.
Well,
He's
he'd be
dead.
surprised when he's dead.
Only other thing in 84 was Shakara actually did tell Mia about Falsey's pact with Izzy.
Yeah.
Yes.
right,
Yeah.
So Mia knows that now.
finally,
Yeah, so like that's who I thought you were trying to help.
Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, and the other general thing for all 3 of these episodes was this recording session was a fucking shitstorm. Most of us were in very, very poor moods. There's a lot
Is this the one? Because
This is it. There was a lot of shit.
Because it's not just
cut out of
84,
it.
right? It's 85 and 86.
That's right.
too, right?
The all 3 of these episodes.
Okay, a lot is making sense right now.
There was a lot of snark cut out of the recording of
Well-
these episodes.
Because listening back, I was listening to all the episodes today, and I was like, this has to be the one where we were in conflict.
Yeah.
This has to be it.
I think this is the one where I was feeling really sick.
You were sick the next day. I was in a shitty
You felt
fucking
sick.
mood.
I felt sick.
I snapped at Emily. Like,
Oh, yeah.
Emily kind of deserved it, though. Emily was being snarky.
I thought it was funny.
I did keep her line in there that set me off too, so that's my true suffering.
About making the number of elders an even number.
Throwing off the vote is what it was.
Yeah, they're gonna have 3-3 tie all the time.
Exactly. I mean, admittedly, it's true. She's right.
You don't have a tiebreaker.
I know, fucking Shikar. No, tiebreaker is whoever planted a tree last or something. They just pick a random rule book and figure out the tiebreaker.
Ain't no damn trees on her.
You know what it was, though? It was like several more weeks into quarantine where it was starting to get old.
Yeah.
And now we're a little bit more adjusted to it. But, oh, man. Okay, that makes so much more sense. I was listening to 85 and I was like, is this it? You did a good job of editing because I couldn't super recall, but...
It sounded okay. We were warming up by the end of it. By the time 86 rolls around, we were kind of in full swing. So
Was that all one recording? 84, 85,
Yeah.
86? So
In the-
87
the
is
combat.
a new...
the first bit of 87 will be the tail end of this because we
Okay.
finished.
Combat, yeah.
We finished that combat that ended 86.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, in this, did we talk about the Omen Moon and the Weave and whatnot in this episode?
Probably in 85, which we're getting at.
Well, let's see. You guys, I don't have that written down here. I think what we have, we start out with, okay, so we start out going to the library with Falzer and okay, so the one thing I wrote down that I wanted to bring up was the noise of the stool dragging over
Yeah,
to...
did you like that?
Yeah, I like that. That was
Yeah, that was awesome.
That was
Really
a good sound effect.
added a whole, like, I pictured it in my head, just dragging it across the floor.
You know what? I should have made it a little longer. I should have made it like 2 seconds longer.
Even
It was a
extra
little short.
awkwardly
Yeah,
long.
I should have made it. A little longer, but
And then, Shaft talking to the librarian. What was her name again? I have it written down somewhere, but I can't remember.
I don't think we heard it this episode.
It's not
Oh.
this episode.
We haven't
either.
heard
Yeah,
it.
you're right. No, we
I
don't.
think we don't hear it for another 6 sessions.
Yeah, it's a long time.
So, my favorite part of that was I was getting down from the stool, and then I said, I want to do an insight check to see if she's catching what I'm throwing. And you said, yeah, she's thinking about books. She's talking about books.
Yeah.
And then,
Not picking up what you're laying down.
then we get the line 50 Shades of Shaft. For,
Oh, yeah. Oh, he's got the
and
manacles.
he's got the manacles, yeah. So yeah, she's intriguing. Yeah, she doesn't know. We can talk books and really get down to it. So I'm excited to see what happens there.
Yeah, very many intellectual conversations. I think that's what she finds most stimulating about Shaft. Yeah.
Yeah. At this point,
At this point, yeah, so far.
Oh, man.
It is so weird to listen to my husband.
Yeah.
Flirting.
She keeps mentioning the books in the back.
You weren't the only one who felt awkward, Emily. Trust me.
Yeah.
I love it. It's one of my favorite things
You know
of the
what?
show.
Listening back to every one of these instances, I just fucking shake my head listening back and just chuckle. And just like, this is so the dumb. Because I picture us on Zoom and doing it when I'm listening to it. It's the stupidest thing. You finally met up though, right? You all finally came back together.
Yeah. That's where I have the next thing that we do is 20 minutes of talking about what should we do next.
Yeah.
And Falsey just dumped all over me and Shakara's plan.
Well, he said, I was hoping for a better plan, which immediately followed, I have here Mia going, what? Yeah, she sort of went off and Falzern had to go, no, I wasn't poo-pooing your plan.
He was
But,
poo-pooing the plan.
Listen, it's common with our party to discuss what's happening, but I think there's so many, and this is not just this episode, there's several coming up, where like there's so many different possibilities. Well, if we do this, then what about this? And can we do this? Like,
yeah.
So
I think the stakes are getting to be pretty high. Like,
think
we're
the
getting into
stakes are
some
high,
situations where, like, we could die if we make the wrong decision, right?
I think it's important for role play to include where everyone's as a character is coming from, because I do think that Shaft and John is playing Shaft to be like, let's make a decision. That's Shaft, though. And then Shakara is thinking, okay, well, we need to be, communicating with these people. We need to warn this. And Bill's thinking about, like, we just all have different...
Right.
Yeah.
And so it's important.
I think the issue that we have is there's so many different factors and so many different things going on that we can overthink all of the possibilities.
Right.
100%. And I did hear each of us saying, okay, well, true. All right, you're right. Because we're always like chiming in like, well, what about this? Well, what if this happens? What if it? And so
everyone is conceding everyone else's point, and you're still really not getting anywhere.
But I do think in real life, no group of 4 people would just hear, Falzer and say, well, let's do this. And they go, okay, sure. Hands down and don't talk about it. So...
Well, my one takeaway for 85 was this was actually really the first time in a session that we've had much actual table talk. At the end of this episode, when we the titular moment of deciding whether or not we want to go back to the Rising 3 and see whether or not Chum's all good, that last like 8-ish minutes was all just table talk. Like it wasn't really, because usually we work it out through RP.
Mm-hmm.
I know, and I felt like I didn't know if you were going to leave that in or not.
I know, and what I caught out, an instance of John saying, all right, let's do that so it's actually RP because we're going to cut all this shit out. And I was like, no. A lot of that's staying in. That's good stuff. So at the time, neither of us really knew what was going to stick in the episode either. We went in and
out of voices, yeah.
Sure, I know, right? But that's what happens when you're playing at the table, though, too, right?
I think for John, there is a frustration sometimes that I always think to myself, we're adventurers, we are, and I think you've brought this up before, Leland, we're not the average people. We have extraordinary skills and things that, we're very, very good at. And what frustrates me sometimes playing with any group, not just this group, is when people are going, well, I don't want to do that. We could die, or I might get hurt. And I'm like, well, that's exactly why we're here to do this. We're adventurers. We're supposed to be putting ourselves in danger and going out and doing those things that nobody else will do. If not, then we're all just going to be sitting at the table, at the tavern talking about, I hope somebody helps take care of these problems.
Yeah, and to help curb some of this indecision, what I could do a better job of doing is putting the party on a timetable, and where this indecisiveness then becomes a consequence. And we haven't had that very much, I don't think, really through the story so far. There was the one instance that really sticks out where the party wasn't really indecisive was when Falsey got abducted by the big toad thing. I forget what the hell that thing's called. Because like Bryn was like, we gotta go, we gotta get him, and Shaft was the indecisive is the wrong word, obviously, because Shaft is rarely indecisive. He's more like,
we're being quick to act in that moment. Yeah.
I wrote him off as not my problem.
100%, exactly. But I mean, where the hell's Falsey? Where is he going? Who's got him? Is he sleeping alive? Like, that's a timetable, and that's where sitting around for 6 hours to say, well, let's go do this first, and then we can maybe come back around to this. Like, Falsey's dead, right? Like,
right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm going to counter what I just said, but in a way, with Shaft, he's not going to risk his life for things that he doesn't feel that are valuable, right? So he might not go out to do something that's going to get himself killed when he knows it's a death trap.
Right. If it's a little consequence to him. Then
right. But that's why this is really difficult right now, because we're all working together, I think, a lot better as a team now, like trying to keep Alamar from becoming a lich.
I'm still amazed that the four of you latch onto that as
exactly.
decisively as you have. Yeah.
But I keep on thinking Shaft would not, he's going with the group, but it's not really his thing. And that's the difference, I think, from his character, is now he's doing more of that.
I think in real life there tends to be like one person who's got that leadership to them or that opinion, and they just like kind of make it happen. And I mean, that's just like, remember in school, there's always the kid who doesn't contribute anything to the project, a few people that contribute something to the project, and then the group leader who just naturally becomes the leader or does it all themselves, takes even what the others contributed and is like, it's not good enough, and does it all themselves. But in our group of 4 people, there's not one person that's like, this is what we're doing, and if you don't come with me, I'm leaving.
I think we've all compromised on whatever goal or thing we set our mind to a lot. It shifts around. I think that's part of the thing. It shifts all over the place.
Yeah, I think our party's done a pretty good job of hearing everyone's perspectives and coming to a plan that's mostly agreeable to everyone, despite having very different ideals and goals and that sort of thing. Like, we've generally done a pretty good job of satisfying everyone, I think, even when we're not completely aligned with
in like 24 hours, Shakara now like trusts Falzarin.
We're best buds, man.
Yep. BFFs forever.
In not very longer than that, she came to distrust him too. So, like, it's, you know, all of that happened pretty quickly. A lot of things happened in that short period.
Even when I was not happy with him, I was distrustful of him. I was distrustful of the distrust. So it wasn't like I was an enemy of Falzarin. And I was struggling with that the entire time and looking for a reason to not be enemies with him.
Right, it just took one squawky little bird to push you over the edge.
The keck factor.
The keck factor, yeah.
So anyway, I don't know if you guys want Leland to put us on more of a timetable like he's saying. I just find
I'm good.
that
No,
I think in the next few episodes, it should be clear to all of you that the timetable is ramping up. So
yeah, Falzarin's on a timetable.
Yes.
Yeah, Falzarin is on a timetable.
Falzarin's literally
I've got
tied
plenty of HP left.
Not if you lose more every day. Didn't you like go from
just
1 to 2 to 3?
I doubt Leland would do that to me.
I'm just not a huge fan of like, okay, let's go. Like, that's, I don't know, that's not my, anyway. So listening back, 85 was annoying me a bit because I was like, man, this isn't that interesting to listen to. So I'm sorry, listener.
I think when we go do things, when we pick a direction to go do things, it's the DM's job to present us with things that are going to be interesting. If all Leland did, he goes, another empty room. Oh, another empty room. I mean, after a while, you're going to just go, why are we even doing this, right?
So it's Leland's fault.
We had that in 85, yeah. You just went to do a bunch of different empty rooms.
What I'm saying is
thanks, Leland. Thanks.
So, I was just saying, it's all
That's
Leland's
kind of
fault.
funny, actually.
I mean, hey, if there's nothing there, there's nothing there.
Right.
So where is everybody? Where was everybody?
They have
Good
fucking
question.
duties. What do you mean? They're not just laying around in their fucking beds all day waiting for someone to come knock on their door. They got shit to do.
Where were they?
That leads us more to the progression of the story too, is we're like, all right, she's not here, let's go. She said let's meet her at the gate. Oh, let's just go on our own and screw her. Let's like we set a timetable and didn't stick to it.
Well, what was odd is the things that we presented to the elders, they didn't seem to be taking it seriously. Right? We told Geneva something that seems like it should be very important. And she, said, oh, well, you need to go talk to this person, and I'll go talk to this person and let them know. Right? And then I think it was in episode 85 where I think Shakara talks to
Sybil,
or maybe it's the next one, Sybil, right? And oh no, I haven't heard anything yet. And you would think that would be, like number one priority is to get up and talk to the other elders.
Which is what led Shakara to telling y'all about how Geneva's alliance might not be with us.
I love the reaction from the rest of you.
What happened in her past.
The best.
Yeah, I have down Shakara lets us know that Geneva was in a pact with Alamar that broke her pact with Father Lemick.
Geneva was in a pact with Father Lemick, and Alamar broke the pact.
And we all sort of looked at you and went, what the fuck? Why haven't you told us this before? This is relevant information.
This is kind of a big deal,
Because
Shakara, and you're like,
That was Geneva's information. I'm not going to go spilling everybody's secrets. That was something that, when she told me that, she was very ashamed of it. And it was something that was in her past that she clearly did not want anybody else to know. So I wasn't going to go around tattletaling on her.
Sure, that makes sense. But then you straight up questioned her about the ritual of catharsis in front of Mia.
In a way that maybe she had researched it or knew something about it.
Okay.
But not give away the fact that she had been
It
a
wasn't
participant.
obvious to Mia.
Okay.
No, it wasn't obvious to Mia.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Maybe it felt more obvious, obviously, because I have the information. And it's like, wow, you're just calling her right out in front of Mia.
But I never said, well, when you did this.
That's very true.
No, she
That's
didn't.
very
And
true.
it's a book that we just found. And then also, it's still not even obvious after Shakara's bristly response to Mia, like, just because she's in a pact doesn't mean she's a bad person. I was like, okay, whoa.
And let's
okay.
face it, nobody's told Mia anything.
No, I don't know crap.
Yeah, so when Mia started doubting Geneva, and I realized listening back, you were doubting Geneva because you thought she might be tied to
loyal
Alamar.
Yeah.
I took it as you were doubting her because she had been in a pact.
No. It was like, oh, if he saved her, she might not actually want to kill him.
Shakara was quite upset at the time that you were down on Geneva for having been in a pact.
No, it was like our communication was crossed.
Yeah.
Like, it
Please.
was not about that.
Please, use the word alliance.
It is not a pact. It's an alliance.
Now say like 10 more lines like that and see how hard it is to breathe.
Okay.
But
Good thing
listening back,
I now have a pop filter.
I can tell when I run out of breath listening back. And I'm like, yeah, that's when I couldn't talk anymore.
It makes me feel like I'm hyperventilating.
Yes.
Yeah, that's not an easy voice to maintain.
Wait
I'm
till
sure.
you hear my voice for the one shot this
Can't
Sunday.
wait.
Sound like I've smoked for 60 years.
All right, so then we pretty much wrap it up with just deciding after some conversation that we're going to head out behind the keep, or
Screw
actually
Grimby.
behind the city, and we
Screw
talk
Grimby.
about messaging Grimby Chum for a while, and with some we ended up not doing it, I think. Right?
Yeah, no, you never did.
To be honest, the spell slots are precious.
Well, I know, and that's what I'm listening back. I
it's
was
so
thinking,
difficult.
does that make sense that they didn't? I mean, I guess it kind of did because you already left them with a bit of warning, like, hey, guess what? The people here at the port are pretty dangerous. You should close up shop here. And
Yeah.
In my mind, we're about to head into battle, man. I can't be spending that spell slot.
Oh, yeah,
So I
absolutely.
wonder,
Yeah.
can I make scrolls like Falzarin does of my sending spell or anything, or is that not like a cleric thing?
that's a good.
Because then I could just have
question.
some scrolls in my bag and burn them, you know?
That's a good question. I'm inclined
Something to think about.
I'm inclined to absolutely let you do it. Yeah, absolutely.
Gotta get some McLaren's finest.
Yeah.
Well, the listener will know how many episodes ahead we are now, because then next episode I'm going to start making some
Oh,
scrolls.
welcome to the club, buddy.
Be like, hey, Falsey, can I borrow some ink?
We were talking about Falzer and making scrolls and a backup spell book way before he started doing it.
Yep.
We've just needed it, and we haven't had it.
Yeah.
But anyway.
So that wraps it up for 85.
Now, I was
anything else?
curious. Back to the Omen Moon thing
Uh-huh.
and the weave.
Yeah.
I found that really interesting. I don't know what the rest of you guys thought about it.
There was some confusion.
Well, that's part of it as well, which is why I'm bringing it up.
Sure.
So it's a 3-day cycle, and the Omen Moon looks differently from your typical moon.
Looks like cheese.
Yep. And she's
Yes,
moon.
it's very cheesy.
And it does its thing every few centuries.
What do you call someone else's moon?
Nacho moon.
There you go.
Oh, jeez. You got that. You had that way too fast.
Elena's
He
heard me
uses
use
that
that
joke
joke a million times.
It is one of his jokes that, we'll be married 50 years from now, and I'll be like,
What do you
"Ha,
call
ha,
someone
ha."
else's cheese? Elena will be like, nacho cheese. So, according to my memory and my understanding is that Ideally, he wanted to do this ritual during the Elman Moon because the connection to the weave, which is basically just like magical powers,
exactly.
would be
Force.
In all
stronger.
worlds, the Force.
Yes, use the Force.
Oh
Harry.
God, Bill, do not make that fucking joke again.
Harry. Live long and prosper.
Gandalf.
Shall not pass. It's a trap.
Okay.
Hey, you got it right there.
You took it too far. So, he wanted to do the ritual during that time period, which it sounds like it is not right now, but he's going to go ahead with it anyway because this new development, which he didn't specifically name, might be a means to...
He pretty much laid it out. He said, if what the Dragonborn and Brightwood say is true, then this changes my timetable.
The Kraken.
Yeah.
That's pretty much all we said to him.
I mean, you, the two of you never used the word Kralakina to the
We
elders
didn't?
at all.
Okay. Perfect.
No.
Screw them.
I assume that it's going to be impossible for him to achieve lichdom because he's like a fool, not doing it during the Omen Moon.
Oh, that's what you're banking on.
So,
Well, we have his
problem
elixir,
solved.
too. I don't know.
We have an elixir.
We have
We have an elixir that we're afraid to drink.
It's a potion. It's a potion of restore.
We
three,
need to
3
keep
HP.
in mind who's writing this story.
That's true. Oh, if I drink it, I could be like a god.
I would never present you with a problem that you could not solve. And if I do, then I'm a shit DM.
Assuming we paid attention.
Well, yes, I can't, I'm not going to fucking hold your hand. You two got to pay attention. I mean, we just talked about 84 missing that whole Triton. Like, when Falsey was talking, glossed right over with the Triton, right? That happens a lot. I will say, that happens a lot.
There you go. It does.
Mia knows that Thor banished him too, right?
Yeah, you read it in Gods and Their Machinations. Okay. Or, sorry, that was in the Surreptitious one. Yeah.
Surreptitious something or other.
Practices of the divine.
And did it say Kralakina in that book?
I believe the Triton confirmed with Falsey that Thor enslaved Kralakina in the elemental plane of water.
Gotcha.
In Gods and Machinations, it only spoke of Thor fighting and killing his son and wife.
Supposedly, yeah.
And then there was the extra information you found in that book that said he may not have actually done it and just...
Yeah, and no one else in the
them
party
somewhere.
knows that.
That's right.
Because it doesn't concern them.
Well. So Mia's holding a couple cards for once.
Well, I would like to for once, because, I don't know, crap. We talked about this.
And this is how you form a cohesive party.
I think we're discussing and talking about things pretty well right now in our group. But
perhaps the best we've ever been.
When you're in the situation where we're talking about 24-hour time period, there's a lot of crap going on. You can also understand why you're not talking about your backstory or things that happened to Falzarin and Shaft. Like when we run into somebody and you go, well, I don't know anything about that. What are you talking about?
Well, like when I joined the party, I had this idea of like communicating with my family back home more and using my sending to like say hi to them and all this stuff. Yeah, it's been a busy couple days. Haven't had time to do that.
Yeah, because I don't think we've really discussed the towers with you in any way. But honestly, we really haven't focused on them. The only two that are even questioning it is me and Falzarin when we talk to Tinnerman, right? Other than that, we haven't talked about the towers in, 10 episodes?
Yeah, if not more. Well, I mean, the nice thing about the Tinnerman stuff is, for those that are wanting more tower action, here's a little tidbit to hopefully keep dragging you along until we eventually get there.
And there's so much. I mean, the whole Vixture disease thing. There's so many threads that are still out there that we need to wrap up at some point in time. Or link together, at least.
Right.
So that takes us to 86, where we're going around the outside of the city to... First off, I'd like to mention the raining noise was perfect. The rain falling
was
down
good.
and really painted a picture of us right there on the side of the cliff edge.
Shout out to Rainn Wilson.
Muddy water pouring off.
Shout out to Muddy Waters.
There you go. So I have written down here that when the cliff, there's a big gap, and we look down and we see another subship.
Dun dun dun.
Yeah, I know.
Chum's just taking her out for a little joyride.
Yeah, I was going in a southern direction.
Southern direction.
Yeah.
The new one is Escape.
Oh, Escape, yeah.
Escape, yeah.
Escape.
I've got
That's
a
not how
sneaking
you
sus-
say it.
That's how Leland says it. Just
I
leave
know.
him
What do you
alone.
mean? Do you
Escape.
get?
It's escape.
Escape. Escape.
No, it's
Escape.
not like Nescafe. It's not like a coffee. It's escape.
Listen, no one else in the world
I'm with
says
you, buddy.
Escape.
I'm telling you, it's not.
That's like
it's escape.
Italian.
No, it's Italian. Come on.
Listen,
Italian.
you might as well say Escape. I mean,
Fine, I can start.
in the movie it says, funny, it's spelled like escape. Escape.
Yeah, escape.
Ah, fragile.
You say escape.
Escape.
There you go. You said it right.
That's how I've always said it.
No.
I like Leland just the way he is. Don't try
Yeah.
and change him.
You can make fun of him all you want, but don't
We
have him
really,
change.
really, really need to paint the Rising 3 on the side. We've just...
Yes.
So
Yes.
basically.
I think a symbol would probably be better.
Something.
Because dubbing something a rising anything is doom.
S-H-A-F-T. 3.
Yeah. So does anyone think that that's actually our ship or no?
No.
I doubt it.
No, I don't think it's our ship.
It's bad guys.
Leland's not saying anything.
Tracking down the Tritons.
I'm not sure who it was. I was up on that cliff with you. Couldn't tell. I rolled a very poor perception check too.
Well, you did say it was really, really far away, so, I mean...
Oh, you were very, very high up.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes, lots of D6s to roll if we fell.
Or D10s, as Bill likes to think.
Wait, it's not D10.
It's not D10s, it's D6s.
D6.
Oh,
So it's only 20 D6 is max falling damage. That's not that bad.
no big deal.
Eventually, that's survivable for like a hero.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's kind of crazy to think of.
Well, I know we're tangenting here, but like I've seen a bunch of like Reddit shit where it's like, is it really realistic that if you fall 1,000 feet, even if you can survive 20 D6, that you're still alive?
Yeah. Like how is
Some people have survived.
what are you so skilled at that allows you
Allows
to
you
fall
to fall 1,000 feet.
20
yeah.
D6 could be 20 points. That's it.
Yeah.
I have a monk that can fall like 45 feet without taking any damage.
That's crazy.
Now, he's crouching tiger, hidden dragon kind of jumping around is what you got to envision, right? I'm bouncing off the walls and that kind of thing. But I can also go, vertical surfaces and...
Yeah, but you have slow fall. You literally fall slowly.
Yeah, well, still cool.
You don't hit max velocity.
It's not the same.
Yeah, how does that work in reality?
E equals MC squared or something like that.
Well, you accelerate at 9.8 meters per second, and eventually hit
Well, you
velocity.
actually are right about that. He's got some good memory for physics.
Thank you
This
for
is
being
taking
so
me back to-
surprised.
Can't say fucking escape, but you can do the math. Okay.
I'm going to
He
have to
can
cut all
say
this out now. I
hold
can't
on.
keep this in.
He says he can say escape. He cannot say escape. Escape.
So, eventually the wall falls away, which I think...
No, the wall didn't fall away. It had already
the-
fallen.
right,
It
right.
had already fallen.
It was very confusing. the way
I'll say it
was.
this way. I should go tell the people in Heraklion that they're going to have a wall situation soon, as the
Someone's
ground
clearly eroding.
has fell away all the way up to the structural integrity right outside the keep.
True.
Yeah, I mean that's a big
Very
deal.
true.
So, yeah, that might be a good thing. I'm sure Heraklion has a handyman of some kind. Most people are robe
I
wearing.
forgot to ask Leland
magic
if it
users,
looked
but-
natural. Like, did it look like someone did that to the wall? You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's a
didn't
good
really ask.
question. Yeah, actually, we kind of glossed over that.
We're like, the wall's crumbling. Okay, cool. Like, how do we...
I thought
No,
the
the wall wasn't
ground was
crumbling.
crumbling, not the wall.
Well,
Yeah. It was the ground. I mean, it was a very narrow pathway.
So Leland put us on this very narrow pathway, put this great big obstacle in our way that most people would just turn around and go back if they came to this. Yet we went on.
Well, he did this. He
sure
said,
did.
you go on for half an hour. Then you come to a place where the ground falls away. Because you're already invested.
I want to know what Leland was thinking when we decided to continue on. We found a way around his hurdle that maybe we should have turned around and gone back.
No, I put hurdles in front of you so you can find ways around them. That is my job. I don't
Like we're adventurers.
Well, I totally, listening back, I totally second guessed that, and I was like, I wonder if we were
that's funny.
not supposed to go there. And he was like, okay, well, I'm going to put this hurdle here. They can have a very, very slim chance of being able to get past. They'll almost definitely turn around and go back. And we didn't.
Interesting. Well, you know what? Note to self, if I need to put up a hurdle that you can't get around, don't make it a gap that Shakara can jump 1,000 feet across.
I think the important thing to note here is we were trying to go north of the city. We went down, out the main entrance, around,
Out the
up
west
the
entrance.
whole outside. There's only one entrance and exit to the city anyway.
Yeah.
We went out
She said the
the
west gate.
south. We went over to the west, and we went up. Took a big long, when we could have, as we had to traverse the wall, went to the north side of the city and went over the wall.
Well,
True.
yeah, we
and
know
been
that
exactly
now.
where we wanted to go. I'm just saying, obstacles, we could figure these things out a little better.
Well, now that you're doing maps of the city, John, you can, metagame a little.
Well, it's not like I'm not going to give you the information of the layout of the city.
Right. Yeah. I just think we took the long route. Let's just
Yes,
put
we
it
did.
that
We
way.
took the scenic route.
Yeah, very much so.
I assumed that the wall, before we got into this situation, I assumed the wall would not be a wall we'd be able to scale. And then once we were stuck with no way to cross this gap, and we start talking about, okay, how high is the wall?
If you didn't have the ring of jumping, you wouldn't have been able to get up to that. It's a 30-foot wall. You couldn't get up there.
Right.
Right.
Falzer
Yeah.
sure as fuck couldn't get up that wall.
We got rope, man.
Yeah, but I don't think anybody has a grappling hook.
No, and the top of the wall is at a 15-degree angle,
I think
as
Mia
we know.
has a grappling hook. I didn't tell you that.
Get out of here, Elena. I just want to clarify something about it wasn't relevant here about the jump though. Even though the jump spell triples your jump speed, you can never jump further than your movement. But you could have always used an action to dash while you were jumping. So it wasn't. And again, that is action economy like in more of an initiative sense as well. But just for future in case it might come up, that is a limitation. Because even if you can't jump 50 feet if you can only move 30 feet in a round.
Makes sense. You'd just be jumping around like a frog all the time.
But
guess.
but I could if I used my action and if I dash. So I used my
Right,
action
because
and
you
bonus
would
action.
have 60 feet of movement and be able to... Because I think your triple jump distance was like 45 feet, right?
I don't remember now.
Yeah, or whatever it was. It was more than 30, just the jump alone, plus the 10-foot run-up. So, and again, it didn't matter here, right? Because we're not in some type of action economy, because it wasn't in any type of initiative or combat. But that is the official, ruling, just for the future. So, like, even if the jump spell could enhance your jump to 100 feet, you wouldn't be able to jump a 100-foot chasm. Which seems strange, though, when you say it like that. Like, if you're able to jump further than you can move,
It doesn't really make sense.
because you'd think the way the formula of calculating your jump would always come out to you never being able to jump more normally than your movement speed, but through magical ability, why wouldn't you be able to do that? Mm-hmm. That's a strange rule.
When you enter it into the calculator online, what does it say?
I'd had to find the calculator online again.
Well, the calculator online doesn't take into consideration the jump spell, right?
So, Bill, if you jumped off that 125-foot cliff, you'd only take up to 30 feet of falling damage. Because you can only move 30 feet.
Oh, yes.
Right. So
I like that logic.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the next round, you would also take another 30 foot of falling damage, and then the round after that, another 30.
There you go.
But
But you can drink a potion each round.
But you have a little hope each. Oh, yeah, you could probably do that as a bonus. No, you can't do it. That's a full action, sorry. Yeah, maybe. Okay, so we get over the wall and we head up to find the. Yeah,
Shaft gets dropped.
Yeah,
was
I do
slippery.
have some of us fall. Yeah, I think Shakara also fell too.
And Shakara offers to throw Shaft.
That
Well,
I don't know how that would have went.
not a dwarf.
I was really hoping that Shaft was going to say, "Nobody tosses a dwarf."
That's right. Shaft did say that. So, yes, we finally get up on top of the wall. We go around, we get back down, and find our way to the central part of the city, head north, and find a, what is it, two shield guardians next to
An
a altar.
Looks suspicious.
Looks like the right place to be, right?
Sure does.
We talk about that for a while.
Yeah, holy hell. I was like, because the rest of that fight, we had about another, like, almost 40 minutes of recording. So, like, to finish the fight in this episode would have been a really long episode, which is
Yeah.
why I cut it where I cut it. But I was like, man, maybe they're not even getting to the fight in this episode. Like, what's happening?
Well,
right now?
we probably wouldn't, but we did take Mia's advice and say, let's just push the damn things over the side of the cliff.
We gotta do something. Yeah.
Right. And Shaft said, I think, you want to push him? Let's get grab a leg. And that's when we rolled initiative.
Well, because can you imagine trying to fight something in the midst of if Alamar did
No,
show up?
I agree. We did do locate object to try to find Alamar, and he wasn't within 1,000 feet, but that, he could show up at any point in time.
He's probably on the Rising 3 getting his elixir back, because he also did find object.
Frick.
Oh,
I forgot he could do that.
no.
Oh! Don't give Leland ideas.
Alamar can do many things.
Leland already thought of that.
Frick.
I hope you're right,
How do
because
you like
if he
being
didn't,
evil,
he
Leland?
has thought of it now.
Well, that's it, really. We get into battle with the shield
Bada bing, bada
guardians.
boom.
I mean, we're hoping, because shield guardians are great, especially if you're like a magic user, right? You have an amulet, you can control these shield guardians. They regenerate health. Look up shield guardian in your
Regenerate
monster
health?
manual. And each round. The reason I know is my wizard in another game has a shield guardian, or had a shield guardian, I should say.
Well, at the very end of 86, the damage that Shaft inflicted had started to heal. That's
Yeah.
how the episode
Yeah.
ended.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a shame that the amulet I have did not work, or at least I wasn't able to make it work.
Too bad.
And that's where we wrap up the group of three. Anything else anybody wants to talk about in 86? I don't think there was really much else.
No.
No. Let's leave them in suspense. Let's not give any hints. Let's just, yep.
So, good grouping of 3 episodes where we're all upset about something.
Next play session we'll be having more fun, I think. Next episode.
Yep.
The next episode gets very interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, man.
There is so much going on, right?
There's so much going on. Yeah. Okay.
And I don't even remember how long ago it was when we recorded those. But,
I think
Yeah,
near
it's-
the end of April, I think it was, or something.
really? Okay.
We've recorded a lot lately, yeah.
So, anything else we want to talk about before we wrap this up?
Well, I think we should plug our Discord. We haven't plugged that very often, but anybody who's listening wants to join in, come chat with us on there. We're on there a lot.
All day, every day.
But yeah, I think we've got links to it on. There's definitely I think we've pinned it on Twitter, but it should be on our website as well. It's a lot of fun, and we're talking about potentially doing some other more kind of creative things on there that you might see coming in the near future. I won't say too much in case that doesn't happen, but
We are? What?
yeah.
It's news to all of us.
Just kidding.
What are you doing, Bill?
The dragon that John painted made it to its new home.
Yay.
Yes.
Yeah, I got a picture. I posted it up on our website from Christopher. So yeah, hope they enjoy it and get some use out of it. It was fun to paint. I really enjoyed. I put the lava down at the bottom, and
Yeah, that base looks
did
sick.
Yeah, the lava's cool.
I had a good time with that. I might buy one of those myself. I enjoyed painting that one.
And now your version will be so much better because you've already done it once.
That's right. I always
Thanks,
like to test it out on the on giveaway winners. Yeah.
Here's your first draft.
I'd be happy to do another one in the future, but maybe in the distant future. I got stuff I want to paint for myself right now. I want to be
Yeah, right.
selfish.
You got to bust. You got to open up KDM. You got to paint off KDM.
You're damn right.
That's a lot of work.
So we have a Patreon that's doing great. We really appreciate all the guys, gals that are donating to us to be able to buy equipment and things that we're going to need to keep the podcast going. It's
alcohol.
awesome.
Absolutely.
Typically, yeah. That's
Kidding.
No, I use all my own personal money for the alcohol, but
That's
when that
very
runs out,
responsible. Drink responsibly.
so no, we really appreciate everything that everybody's doing, and we have some great things that we want to do with the money coming up, and hopefully we'll be able, if you can donate and you like the show, we'd appreciate anything anybody's willing to do to help us meet some of our future goals. We met our first goal already, and we have some mini campaigns that we're going to be working on here in the near future, and some other stuff that we're going to be putting out too.
Yeah, lots of patron exclusive mini campaigns. Specific tier, you get early access to the regular session episodes. Additional of our stupid bloopers too every month.
Oh yeah.
More than we
That's
got a
the
lot
real
of them.
content.
We got a lot of them to spare, so we can still put them at the end of APs and give some patron exclusive.
Deleted scenes.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
And we really appreciate all our listeners sharing our podcast with their friends and family, because it looks like there's new episodes every day coming in and downloads of our early stuff. And so we really appreciate you sharing the word.
Oh yeah, it's great. All the downloads, we're getting a lot more new listeners, and it's pretty exciting to hear from people and on Twitter and other places that are talking about the show. So it's great.
Yeah, and we were talking about. I think I messaged you on Discord yesterday that I listened to most of session 1 the other day, and it wasn't completely garbage. It was not that bad.
All right.
Even though obviously the quality and production is markedly improved, it wasn't complete trash like I just envisioned it would be.
Yeah, I've been meaning to go back and listen to our first, dozen or so episodes for a while now. I need to get around to doing that. Just to remind myself of
How far we've come.
I did sort of set a goal for myself. I wasn't going to bring it up, and I probably won't do it. But I was going to go back and do a kill chart. Listen to all the episodes, find out who did killing blows, who had the assist.
Bryn's kills.
Yeah, I would have everybody that died, and then sort of have a list of how many shafts killed versus falls ran versus.
We could break that up amongst the 5 of us.
I think if we wanted to do it the most accurate way, you should probably just record killing blows and not total damage dealt. Per
I was just going to do
That's because
killing.
I believe Falzarin comes in and scoops up the last little bit.
He snipes Hank Applebee's from me. Yeah.
After everybody else did all the hard work.
Let's just let the numbers speak for themselves, okay?
I mean,
we don't
let's
need
do
to...
killing blows, and that's just coincidence sometimes, but...
I mean, if I'm listening to the show to be able to get the data, I can put comments in behind each kill. So we know that, Falzarin snuck in and got the kill, even though...
Magic missiled it.
I don't think we
stealer.
want to sully the data with
Kill
biases,
stealer.
John. It would be the most fair to just look at the
No,
numbers.
we'll have the
Now,
pie
does-
chart.
Does Gozer get credit for killing herself?
Ooh.
And who gets credit for killing Theft?
Come on.
I do.
Randall?
I do.
That's Leland.
Yeah.
I get credit.
Yeah.
I get credit for PC kills, right?
And the plan was also to do it by episode, too, to see how many kills per episode, just to see...
Wow.
Oh,
You
wow. Okay, this is quite the data.
Well, that's why I said I don't know if I'm really going to do it, but, I'll just pull up Excel as I listen.
Well, if we have any listeners who are interested in going back and re-listening to our entire catalog and want to do that for us,
Can we source that out? Can we get somebody else to do this?
possibly.
That's the other thing I thought of. I was like, thanks to our new listeners, I'm like, wait, if they're already to this after party, they really downloaded.
We've got some dedicated
stuck with
listeners.
us. Yeah.
We will shout you out on a show if you want to do that.
Go back and listen to the last 87 episodes.
Just real quick.
It's only 87-hour commitment. And
It's not bad, really.
It's a drop in a bucket. Time is meaningless.
Skip
right
the
now.
after parties, you know.
That's
right.
one work week for someone who works themselves to the bone, or just 2 work weeks for a normal person. It's not that crazy.
We do really get enjoyment out of people commenting right away on release day. Something where we know, it means you listened. Like, that just tickles me. That, like, on release day, someone already listened to it by the afternoon. That's so nice. I love it.
Hey, Bill, have we ever brought up the Board Game Geek page that we have for the encouragement party?
I don't think we have. Yeah. We have I guess it's a guild, right? A Board Game Geek guild. I probably should have been prepared if we were going to mention this, because anyone who's familiar with Board Game Geek knows that it's not always the most intuitive to navigate around. So I think you need the actual BGG guild number to find us, probably.
Really? What a fucking load of shit. That's why I don't use that stupid site.
You might be able to do a Google search to find it, but yeah, we have a BGG guild if you can find it.
And we're even Bill Ben's working on getting us an icon.
Yeah, that's awesome. He's making a micro badge for us.
Micro badge, yeah, that's what it's called.
Which he's put a lot of work into so far. It sounds like he's on version 5 or something.
Only a micro. Like, why didn't he just go for macro? I don't get it. Why didn't he just go for the big one?
I'm not sure. I think there's
thanks,
some sort
Bill
of hoops
Ben,
you have to
but
jump through.
Seems like you're really half-assing it. I don't know. We're applauding the effort, and it's just.
And our podcast was it on the list for best podcast, which is not a nomination.
Best board game podcast.
Board game podcast.
Shh, we don't want to bring attention to that.
Thanks for everyone that voted.
3752 is our guild number.
There you go. So you can get in there. It's another place beyond Discord, Twitter,
Facebook,
Instagram, yeah.
We are everywhere.
My phone is beeping all the damn time.
That's mostly Discord.
Sounds like we wrapped everything. We talked about everything we need to talk about. So I'm going to wrap this up. I've been John and Shaft.
I've been Emily and Shakara.
I'm Elena. I play Mia.
I've been Bill and Falzern.
And I'm Leyland Steele. Happy adventure.
You already know who we are.
Oh, God. Damn fucking spider.
He's back. I told you to burn the house down.
Computer now.
You should have listened to me.
His little legs just came up across the top of the monitor.
Oh, that's terrifying.
Can't you just kill it?
No! That would require getting close to it! Do you not understand the issue here, Leland? There's a fucking spider!
Wow. Oh, John is getting up.
John's on his way. Here we go.
Let's time him. How long does it take to climb 2 flights of stairs? 4, 1,000. 5, 1,000. 6, 1,000.